Yo, Jill, Ran. Okay, so what I wanted to do is get everybody together and talk a little bit about what we're going to do for this term, and I don't have an answer to it. So the question is, what do we want to do, and who has room to do it? Catherine really has the biggest room, so she can really do all the form. Jill, you look like you've made some progress, but how are you doing on that?
Uh, yeah, I guess it's basically this stressor just needs to move, but there's this a lot of stuff in the way. But it's something that I was going to work on this weekend, so it's possible it could happen this weekend.
That would be nice, right? And don't forget that's what husbands are for. So, right, just tell him move this.
Yeah, but then there's this thing called he does the taxes.
Oh, oh, there she
I,
is. Hi, sweetie. You look like you're ready for a little Tai Chi. Is that hair growing in on you? Have you got little hair?
is the beard coming in yet?
Okay, and Ran is actually in the laundry room. So Ran is probably the person with the most restrictions. Although Kevin is still nursing his knee. Kevin, how's your knee doing?
It's okay. I've been trying to get the darn garage, the barn set up so I can go outside again, but the weather's not been cooperating. And between the ice storm, the power outages, and the darn electrician, every time I set something up, they short everything out. I have to start over again. So I just said, screw it.
Wow.
I'll get to it when I get to it. But that's my goal is to get back outside again.
Well, that would be nice, I'm sure. But it is still up. It's pretty cold up here, cold and rainy. How is it down there? Same.
It's cold and it's rained several times this week. It was supposed to rain this afternoon. I don't know. Just wait a minute. The weather changes here.
Wow. Okay, so my understanding from Catherine is um, that she would like to start the form over again from the beginning, which is what I had in mind. Now, I know because this happens in every class, it happened to me, it happened to everybody I know, and it's like it's happening to you guys too, that the end of the form is still a little questionable. It just always goes that way. So the thing that you do is you go back to the beginning and you go through it again. And when you get done with that, you go back to the beginning and you go through it again. Um, I think I've told you guys I did that 12 times with Master Zhang because getting the first form is the most important thing. If and when someday you learn the big form, the 83, you'll go, oh, well, the 24 is the beginning of the 83. All right. So you're actually already working on more advanced stuff. And the more you can get to 24, the better you will do in the more advanced forms, if we were ever to get to them. But you guys that are in the Catherine and Jill who are in the 24, we did the 83 in the advanced class, but I thought it was actually quite difficult to do. It's just it's too big for these little, even MySpace that I've got here got set up. So I don't think we're going to do the 83 and the 71, and we're not going to do the sword or the saber because it's too damn dangerous. Even if you have a blunt sword, you're going to be knocking over lamps and stabbing your roommate right by accident. So we can't really do the weapons and we can't really do the big forms because they're just too big. So that leaves us with two shorter forms, the 24 YILU, which is what we're learning. And we could also do the 24 ERLU, which is the YILU is slow and soft, the YILU is harder and faster, a little bit harder and faster. So they make a nice pairing. And the 24 YILU also has a lot of Xinyi in it. And don't forget the name. The name of our style is Chenshu Xinyi Hunyan Taiji Chuan. All right. So the Xinyi comes in with the 24 YILU. So my thought is just to start the 24 over, and we're also sort of at a certain point. You get to the point where it's not so much up to the teachers; it's up to you guys to just practice. So Master Zhang would teach us the form, and he'd work with us for a couple of years. And then basically he'd say, okay, let's do the 24, Jill, you lead. And then when you're done, then, oh, let's do it again. Catherine, you lead. And let's do it again. Kevin, you lead. And we would do it, we would do it 3 times every time we met. And then we would do the advanced forms that way too. You just have to practice rather than be, listening to me all the time. So what Zhang would do is he would have someone else lead, like Jill said, and he would watch the group. And he would notice, of course, lots of things that needed corrections, and he would pick 1 or 2. Not to focus on an individual, but rather to focus on an issue. And so he would say, okay, we need to work on something. And so we would work on it for 10 or 15 minutes. And then we do the form again. And he would watch and see, who picked up the corrections that he made on there. And that's kind of what you have to do at some point. I'm not sure we're at that point right now, but we are going to work toward it somewhat. And I really want you guys just also to practice more. Just practice, 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 practice. All right. Jill, how do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice, practice, practice.
Practice, practice, practice. All right? You just got to practice. You got to do it 10,000 times. And you practice, 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 and hopefully both more advanced students and your teacher are slowly filling you in on other things, little bit at a time. But this is why it takes a lot of years to learn this, because even the short form is actually massive. In the advanced class, we've been working on the yin and yang cycles. And what did we get up to, Kevin?
Hang on a minute.
Kevin's been keeping score for us.
I don't know. We're up about middle of it, and we're about 100 and something, I think.
I thought it was like 180 or something. We're about the middle of the form, and let's just say it's 150, and it's 150 cycles halfway through. So by the time we get done, it's going to be 300 yin and yang cycles. You have to know every one of those. You have to know what they're for and how to use them and how to make it happen. But that's much more advanced than where we're at right now.
Can you just demonstrate what is a yin and yang?
A yin and yang cycle. It's very simple. Let's take the very first move of the form. All right? And we'll start with the first yin and yang cycle. All right? That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. All right? So the first, that's the traditional first move. That's 4 yin and yang cycles. So what does that mean? You could think of it really simply as just being a baseball player. Someone pitches the ball, wind up and hit. Right? Yin, yang. Right? That's it. It's very simple. But it's very simple. But, right? Watch. How many yin and yang cycles did you see? So what we've done is go through the form, move by move by move, and analyze where the yin and yang cycles are. And to a certain extent, those are really given, but to another extent, they're arbitrary. You could, so for instance, in the second move of the form, all right, some people would count it as 1. Some people would count it as 1, 2. Some people, like me, would count it 1, 2, 3. All right. So we counted 3 right in that beginning. All right. In other words, the yin and yang cycle is a function. It's a martial application. And as an artist, this is really getting down to the technical part of the art. So we watched Stevie Ray the other day, right? When you watch Stevie Ray, the first few times you watch him, you're just going to be caught up in the music and the whole thing that's going on. You got to watch it over and over and over so that you can really see what he's doing, the technical part of what he's doing. He's a real technician. Now, in a certain way, he's really loose. He's just pounding that guitar. He's letting accidents happen and then capitalizing on the accidents. That doesn't mean he's not a technician. That means he's a great technician because he's willing to allow accidents to happen in real time. But he's capable of those little accidents and things happening and then taking advantage of them and doing something with them. In other words, he's incredibly creative. But you watch him play and you go, oh my God, this guy knows this guitar in a way that very few people know their instrument. Well, your instrument's your body. So you have to find out, if you're just moving like this, and you don't know what you're doing, then what are you doing? All right? It's almost like, to keep with the music metaphor, it's like every move you make in Tai Chi makes a sound. What sound are you trying to make? What sound came before? What sound's coming afterward? How do you tie them all together? All right? So that awful move that I just did, right, should look something like this. Be done very softly. It can be done with a little right? With a little oomph, right? But you have to know what it is going on. Jill, do you play any musical instruments?
Well, I used to play the piano, and I had a piano brought here, and it's still kind of dusty. So
you read music?
yes.
Okay, Catherine, do you do any musical instruments? Kevin?
I play a good stereo.
Well, I don't play either. I used to do the little harmonica, but that was a long time ago. When you read, you can certainly learn to play an instrument the old folk way. You learn from your grandpa and your uncles and your aunts, and You just learn to play the instrument, and you pick up different melodies and songs from different people. Or you can do it the more modern way, where you learn to read music, and you go to classes and you learn. Well, so let's say we're doing that. You have to be able to read the music. You have to understand the score. What is the score? When something says pianissimo, what the hell does that mean? If you don't know what it means, you're never going to play pianissimo, right? And all the other stuff that goes with it. It's the same. It's the same with more advanced Tai Chi. The purpose of all that technical stuff is not to be technical. It's to rise above the technical part. So one of my favorite violinists is Itzhak Perlman. He's a great technician and a teacher, but I don't listen to him for his technique. Well, I mean, I am listening to him for his technique, but what I'm really listening for is the emotion in the music. And he's able to bring that forward because he is such a great technician. It's the same with Tai Chi and Qigong. Even if you're doing Qigong, which is really oriented toward yourself. It's not about pleasing other people or becoming a martial artist, right? It's really about cultivating yourself. Even there, you want at least a certain level of technical expertise, or you will not get out of the Qigong what you could get out of the Qigong. So if you're standing like this, all right, it kind of looks a little like Qigong on the outside, but it's not. Now, my God, open your toes, open your knees, open your pelvis, sit down, relax, right? Grow your spine up, grow your spine down. When you get the technical part about how to hold your body and how to work with your body, it's so relaxing and it's so invigorating. But if you don't have that, during the break, Annie and I were talking about that class, and she reminded me that when she began practicing with us, 14, 15 years ago, I went through this business about, open your toes aren't straight forward, open your toes, open your knees. You'd think that's the simplest thing in the world. She couldn't do it. She couldn't either physically or mentally do it. All right? And I'll tell you, a lot of people can't. What's the softest and most vulnerable part of your body? Right here. A lot of people hold their body in such a way that they're protecting this. Perfectly understandable. Trouble is, you can't do Tai Chi or Qigong that way, or at least you can't do it very well. All right? So she could not open her right toes. She could open her left toes a little bit. Right? But her right leg was literally kind of turned in. It probably took 3 or 4 years for that to change. And she went through, I think I've told you guys this story before, she went through some pain and discomfort before this, this side could open. Then the other side got screwed up. All right? Then she had to work on that. Then she had to come back and work on this. And she had to go back and forth a couple of times. That's a really important technical part of this. I just bought myself some new shoes. Actually, I bought myself 3 pairs of new shoes. All right. Oh, they are new. They are nice and white. All right.
They're just like your old shoes.
You're right, Kevin. They are just like my old shoes, except except they're much larger. People's feet, as they get older, tend to get larger. So my old shoes, which were literally falling apart at the seams, were um, were size 11 wide. These are 11 and a half triple wide. Do you know why? This happens for ladies more than guys. Jill, do you have any bunions from wearing narrow shoes?
You know, I do, but I never wore narrow shoes.
So, but you've still got a few.
Yeah, I still got one. Yeah.
Catherine, how about you? Have you got bunions? Yes. Do you know why? And a lot of men have them too. All right. So you look at cowboy boots. The front of a cowboy boot is really narrow. What gives people bunions is narrow shoes. Do you know why there are narrow shoes? They built shoes
Your
with
feet look
narrow
nicer.
what?
Your feet look nicer in narrow shoes.
Part of it is just plain fashion, right? But actually, it comes from the days when we rode on horses. The narrow, pointy shoe was easier to put into a stirrup.
And
Or
the
a
heels
wide,
are,
a
yeah.
wide, boxy. All right. Okay, so those narrow shoes screwed everybody's feet up.
Oh, and the heels were to keep you from sliding out of the stirrup, and so that threw the whole posture off.
Exactly. Or how about women? How about women with high stiletto heels? I can't even imagine wearing shoes like that.
Me neither.
Now, let me my master's mother. So Master Zhang's mother um, had what do they call it, Kevin? The short
Bound
little
feet.
feet. What? Bound
Bound
feet.
feet.
She had bound feet. Do you know what bound feet are? When the female children are very young, they break their feet. They break their feet, double the toes under, and bind it up. So they grow up, instead of having a nice foot like this, they grow up with feet like this. And they have tiny little feet. Fashion.
You also had to have a certain amount of wealth because you needed servants.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm bringing that up because what's the difference between a bound foot and these screwed up shoes that give us all bunions? There's not really any difference. I mean, one is a more extreme example. One is more extreme, but they are both screwing with your feet and screwing them up. When Annie was growing up, a little girl in the South, they really gave them shoes and she has her knuckle of the big toe is enormous on both sides. So it's actually better now than it used to be. All right. Have you ever seen feet that have never lived in shoes? So people from the Amazon, right? Our feet look like these. Their feet look like this. They're literally, their big toes are way out, their feet are splayed, and when they walk, all right,
Do you know if they walk toe to heel?
I don't know about that, but
Because
because
that's, yeah, because at least in European, like, uh, that's what I read is that it was that you would start toe first because you're always kind of testing the ground.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe,
You need
yeah,
to read about barefoot running, about how they do that in South America. That's where those shoes, the barefoot. Remember, Adam and I used to wear those stupid ass
yes,
shoes.
yeah, yeah. The point of it is, though, for what I was saying, is their feet are not bound up. They're just allowed to be natural. All right? And if you have literally bound feet like Master Zhang's mother, you would know something was wrong. This is abuse. Now they didn't see it as abuse, but it is abuse. It's destroying somebody's body. When your feet are screwed up from being in all these awful shoes that we wear, that's also abuse, but we don't see it that way because we're just used to it. It's the same with what we were talking about today when we were talking about the horse stance. The horse stance is not some weird Taoist stance. It's the natural stance. This is a weird stance. Hi. The natural stance is to be open, not to be all closed up. So a lot of what you have to learn to make Tai Chi work for you and Qigong work for you is to get back into your natural body, including getting good shoes. All right, so what I'm just sort of thinking about is um, that all four of us work together. We would have more of a class that way. Yes, I know, Ram. We haven't finished the yin and yang cycles for the whole form, but we can get to that eventually. Maybe not in this class, and we won't do this forever, but at least for this term, work together and go through the whole form again together until the weather gets better, and Ram figures out a way to get out of the laundry room. Yeah, Kevin.
Well, if we work together, do you want to expand the class to 2 hours if everybody's able to do it?
No, I think it's too much, Kevin. Annie and I actually were talking about that too. She reminded me when we started the school, our class periods were 90 minutes. It's too much. It's too much for most people.
Yeah, and it's
Well,
too late for me. Yeah.
And it's too, yeah, so, part of it is it's just too much. People get too tired. Part of it is people's schedules, like Catherine's schedule. She doesn't have 90 minutes or 2 hours.
all right,
It's
so
just
that
the time difference more than anything else. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
almost 8 o'clock here at night. So
yeah.
so does that mean the advanced class would now fold into the 10 o'clock class and we'd no longer do 11 for a while?
At least for this term, we'll just do it the 10 o'clock class, and we'll just all work on practicing. And so for Jill and Catherine, it's going to be a matter of solidifying what they've been learning for the past few months, and also going another level deeper in the Shin Yi, in the mental intention. We're not going to jump up and do the yin and yang cycles, but we're just going to go the next level for Catherine and Jill. Catherine, does that sound okay?
sure, but I think that Kevin and Rama are going to be bored because we are really beginners.
Well,
No,
they
I mean, I'm
they
ready
say
to do it
no.
again.
You just
Serious.
rediscover it. You do it again. You're like, oh, I didn't do this right. I didn't know how to do it. That's funny. And then again, and then again, again.
I've told you guys this story before. I'll tell you again. I was at Master Zhang's house one day, and he said, um, there was a little language barrier, but we managed to understand. He said, you be me, I'll be you. And he said, this is what you do when someone attacks you, right? You go like this. Someone comes up and pushes you in the chest. It's a natural reaction. Well, what's happening with my chi? Where's my chi going? It's all going up. So he said, don't do that. It's not good. And I said, oh, you mean me? You're talking to me, right? He had told me this 99 times before. I had heard exactly the same thing 100 times before. But it just didn't percolate through. He said, look, when someone goes up and goes like that, don't go like this. Go like this. Don't raise your chi up. You stiffen up your body. Now you can't do anything. And that's what they're trying to do to you. Right? Instead, when someone comes up and they attack you high, drop your chi down into the ground. Drop your chi down. Roll your danshin backward. Drop your chi down. And come up from underneath. He had told me exactly the same thing 100 times before. Now, like I say, told me. He wasn't really telling me. He was just telling everybody. But I'm in the class. Right? Why the hell did I not understand it? It doesn't matter why. You just don't. You don't understand it until you understand it. And it just takes a long time. Yeah, Kevin.
I mean, the natural, well, for us anyway in the States, is short attention span theater, or you want to learn everything at once. You want to learn the 83, you want to learn the 71, you want to learn the elbows, you want to learn the sword, you want to learn the saber, you want to learn, and then you realize that you can't run until you learn how to walk. And I'm still, after this many years, trying to freaking learn how to walk. So starting over again,
right.
Yeah, starting over again is not a problem for me, and I can start at 10 o'clock, and that's fine.
Good. Let's do that then. So we'll meet tomorrow, and we'll start on the first move of the form. In fact, we can start on the first move of the form right now. Let's look at the first move of the form from the very traditional point of view. I'll show you what it is in old Chen style. So this is called village style. All right? That's it. That's it. It's one move, one yin and yang cycle. In Hunyuan, it's considerably elaborated. All right? In Hunyuan, this is what it is. Okay, so why did they make the changes? Why did Master Feng change it from the old village style to what we're doing? Watch the old village style again. I'll turn a little bit to the side. here's what we do. Why?
That four yin yang cycles right there, and you've got a bunch of different applications that you don't see if you're doing the short. What do they call it?
That's
Ball.
true. That's true. That comes after the fact.
It's because heathens don't understand, so they have to wind up.
Oh, he did that even for the Chinese. Why did he? What were the two things that he actually changed? The first. Let's back up a little bit. Why is Hunyan, or how is Hunyan different than village style?
Or Qigong.
Well, Qigong, right? It incorporates a huge amount of Qigong. Why? Because it's the foundation. So if you want to learn Tai Chi, you got to learn Qigong. Not a particular routine or something, but the real fundamental aspects of it. So it's incorporated in the Tai Chi itself. All right. The other thing that Hunyan does is it's a big frame. It's big. Now it's not too big. All right. It's not like this. It's comfortable. It's comfortable, but it's big. Village style, old Shen style, is much smaller because village style is more oriented toward martial applications, where our style is more oriented toward personal development. Exactly what Kevin was saying. So here's what he changed. You probably don't even see this. Watch. Village style. Right? This little movement becomes this in our style. In other words, he took something that's there, but it's almost invisible, and he made it bigger so you could see it. All right? Both Zhang and Feng used to say all the time, if I don't show you, you won't see it. Because so much of village style, which is oriented toward the martial arts, is invisible. You're not supposed to see it. Well, that doesn't do you guys any good as students, right? If you're just trying to learn. It's all there, but it's invisible. Yeah, Kevin.
Well, yeah, you can't do that small frame unless you learn all the qigong. I mean, part of the expression of the power is to be able to expand all of your joints and collapse them and move the chi, and you can't do that unless you learn how to do it.
Village style is nothing wrong with village style, as long as you're in the village and you've got people to learn from. Right? A lot of people to learn from because it's difficult. All right. What Master Zhang did by making the things that were invisible, make them visible, is in a certain way he simplified things. All right? This is much easier to do than this. Even that's too much, right? It's all happening inside. You don't see it on the outside. So it's not, in a certain sense, it's not different. You're still doing the same things, but you're exaggerating, you're allowing yourself to do them in the full, your full range of motion. And that makes them much more obvious. That's where the old move stopped. But now Master Feng went on. Why? What is this movement? At the elemental level, what are you doing?
Pushing someone.
Yeah, you're pushing someone, but what's happening on the inside? You're rolling your Danshan backward. Your microcosmic orbit is going backwards. So why did he add this on?
Or in reverse lead circle.
Exactly, so that you get some practice going the other direction. All right? This is all rolling backwards. This is rolling forward. All right? Now, why did he add this on? One, okay. Two, okay. Why three? Because you got to get into the right place for the next move. All right? So you could say, this is a reversely circle, this is a forwardly circle, and this is getting into the neutral position to start the next move. There's a logic. Once you sort of understand what's going on, there's a logic to everything. It's not random. Does this make sense, Jill? Yeah, if you want to do Hunyan Tai Chi, you need to know that. If you really want to do it. If you don't want to just look like you're doing a little Tai Chi, but you really want to do it, you need to understand that. Oh, okay. Okay, this is why I'm doing that. I'm doing this. Why does he want to do it bigger? Well, partly so that you can see it, right? But why do you want to do it bigger? As a practitioner, why do you want to do it bigger?
Because that's where you have to start. Because the only way you can get to the, like, doing it imperceptibly is when you've so thoroughly mastered it.
Yes, exactly. It's so you can practice it. This first part, what are you doing? You're rolling it backward and down. So, practice. That's just Qigong. When you get out of the mindset of the martial application and just think, well, what am I actually doing with my chi? Now it's just Qigong. Oh, roll it backward. Roll it backward. What about my Tanzhong? Oh, Tanzhong, Ming Men. All right? And when I do Ming Men, I need to grow up to the top of my head. There's all these principles that you need to practice all at the same time. And you can't think about it. You're not going to have time to think about it. All right? So you practice slowly. If you do this move at the beginning of the form without using your Tanzhong, then you haven't done the move. If this is just neutral, Uday, not correct. All right, watch. Tanzhong, Ming Men. Tanzhong, Ming Men. Right? Center chest, lower back. And that's just one thing that's going on. When you come up into center chest, which leg are you using? When you come up into center chest, which leg are you on? When you go down into the lower back, which leg are you on?
Up on the right, down on the left.
Up on the right, down on the left. It's just a little difference. But you need to do that. You're always shifting your weight. Always. When you sink your chi, where does it go? The lowest point of the body is the Dan Chen, but the Dan Chen is also the bottom of the feet. Right into the ground. Qi is water, it's heavy, it's going to go down. But watch, I'm going to do this wrong, watch. Qi Chen Dan Chen, Qi Chen Dan Chen. Shuling Dingjing. I didn't have any Shuling Dingjing. It's just collapsing. So instead, when I sink my chi, my spirit goes up to the top of my head. Stretched. Just the same way you stretch a bow when you shoot a bow and arrow. That's a lot of stuff to remember. And the timing of all that has to be completely natural. Completely natural. You can't think about it. Okay, I got to do this. You drive yourself crazy. It just happens naturally. So how does it happen naturally? You do it 10,000 times. And one day when you're practicing, you're beginning practicing, right? You're just focusing on rolling the Dan Chen. Don't worry about all that other crap. Just roll the Dan Chen. Roll the Dan Chen. Roll the Dan Chen. Oh, sink your chi. Roll your Dan Chen, sink your chi. Just do that for a couple of weeks. Don't think about which leg you're supposed to be on. Don't think about your Tanzhong. Just think about rolling your Dan Chen and sinking your chi. After you do that for about 2 weeks, what will happen is now it's starting to be in your body. And so you don't even, one day you'll do it and you won't even think about it. That means you've got it. Now you're still gonna have to practice a little bit, but you're soaking in. You're eating it and digesting it. Now go on to the next thing. Tanzhong Ming Man. Tanzhong Ming Man. Tanzhong Ming Man. Once you get that, then go into Shuling Dingjing. Right? Shuling Dingjing. Shuling Dingjing. Shuling Dingjing. Right? Now, when you get those 3 principles, those are good principles for every single move. They're the foundation.
I'm sorry, Malcolm. It's 8 o'clock and I have to go.
No problem, hon. We'll see you tomorrow.
Ciao, everyone.
Ciao. Okay, I should go too, since I hear Annie's got us got lunch for us here. But you see what I'm trying to say? Huh? The beginning of the second move. Roll the Dan Chen. Sink the chi. Roll the Dan Chen. Sink the chi. And then you push from there. Roll the Dan Chen. Sink the chi. All right? Tanzhong, Ming Man. Tanzhong, Ming Man. All right? Shuling Dingjing. Watch the top of my head. If you don't shuling ding jing, your push is just going to be weak. Going to be nothing. So every single move. All right, guys, we're over time. All right, we'll pick it up there tomorrow.
So 10 o'clock tomorrow.
10 o'clock tomorrow.